Shalom Chevra, it's Motzei Shabbos, time for another Chiddush, another thought. If you open up the Gemara, if you open up anywhere in Shas, any sugya you're learning, every sugya consists of concepts. Whether it be Ishus, Kedushin, whether it be Edus, Zomim, Shlichus, whatever concepts you're learning, whatever sugya you're learning, that sugya is going to be filled with concepts. Now let's say you take a single concept and you have an opinion on how to understand that concept. Remember, there's a spectrum how to understand any concept in Shas. You have a Machokas Rishonim on how to understand each concept, each term. Now, if you take a certain stance on how to understand a single concept, that will affect how you learn that sugya, but it will also affect how you learn all the other concepts in that sugya, depending on how you learn this one concept. Now, that concept that you take a stance on appears all over Shas as well. Maybe it's 5 times, 20 times, 100 times. So depending on how you take this one stance on one concept, it won't only affect how you learn the sugya and how you understand all the other concepts in the sugya, it will affect every other place in Shas where that concept comes up. It will affect also how you understand all the other concepts that appear in all the other places where this concept you took a stance on appears in Shas. So taking this one stance affects how you, let's say, learn 20 sugyas in Shas. But within each of those times it appears in Shas, every other concept connected with this one concept you took a stance on, let's just say Edus or Shlichus or Kedushin or anything, all of those other concepts are going to be impacted. But all of those other concepts, now you have, let's say, 100 concepts, also appear hundreds, if not thousands, of other places in Shas, which is going to affect thousands of other sugyas in Shas. So taking one stance on one concept in all of Shas, in all of Torah, is going to affect how you understand every other concept in all of Torah. One point reverberates and has this, this cosmic, reverberation throughout all of Shas. One opinion, one stance. Everything in Torah is interconnected, which means change one thing, you change everything. Because everything is omni-significant, everything is important. All of Torah is one. The Ramban says that all of Torah Shoksav is the Shem Hashem. Everything is one interconnected circuit, one organic system. What does this mean? Not only does it mean that everything is interconnected, that change one thing, you change everything. It also teaches you the concept of oneness. That if you want a more practical, proactive tip, it's when you learn anything in Shas, learn anything in life, bring everything else you've learned to it, and then based on what you learn from that, apply it to everything else in life. Interconnect all aspects of everything. Become a conceptual thinker who understands that what you're doing now is the result. You're bringing everything you've ever thought of to the table, and everything you learn now should be brought and conceptualized to impact everything you've learned in the past and everything you learn in the future. Interconnect everything. Become an interconnected oneness thinker. Apply conceptual ideas to every detail, to everything you do, and bring details back to the underlying concepts. Let's take it a step further. Because of this concept of interconnectivity, interconnected oneness, if you want to take a step back and think about something shocking, we can talk about self-contradictions. Because a lot of us have jumbled ideas, opinions, and thoughts running through our consciousness, running through our heads. But a real thought-out mind, a systematic mind, wants to create a sound, interconnected philosophy, ideology, where all your opinions and thoughts relate to all other opinions and thoughts, so that you're actually an interconnected oneness mind, an interconnected oneness thinker, where you don't have a bunch of different thoughts, ideas, and opinions in your head, but you've thought everything out, related everything to each other, compared and contrasted to the point where you have created nuance and qualification, and you have developed your own inner thinking. And that's what you do in Lumdus and Shas. It's what you do in philosophy. It's what you do in Kabbalah. It's what you do in all forms of wisdom, whether it be just facts, whether it be ideas, whether it be spirituality, emotional, morality. You want to constantly interconnect, create more nuance and development. It's not A or B or C, but it's constantly developing. And there's so much to be said here. If you want to take a deeper step back, you say when you learn Shas, you don't want to only say, I want to take this one opinion, that one concept. You want to understand the spectrum of each concept. When it comes to Shlichus, when it comes to Edus, when it comes to Kedushin, when it comes to learning anything, when it comes to Basar v'Chalav, when it comes to Kashrus, when it comes to Pikuach Nefesh, when it comes to Chil Shabbos, every aspect of halacha, every aspect of life, every aspect of philosophy, every aspect of Jewish thought has a spectrum, and you want to understand the spectrum and apply the spectrum to everything. So as opposed to refraining yourself to one opinion on every topic, understand the full spectrum of the opinions and apply the full spectrum throughout. When it comes to Shas, throughout Shas, when it comes to Machshava, throughout all the realms of Machshava. Understand how to abstract, how to keep the spectrum in mind. Don't isolate yourself to one opinion without taking into account all the other ideas, all the other options. Become comfortable with both paradox and with a spectrum of ideas and opinions. And when you do that, you become so nuanced and so both conceptual and practical, and you understand how to relate, and it's almost, you live in the void where you don't have to isolate yourself to one opinion, but you understand the full spectrum, and that's what Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim means. It means appreciating the spectrum of truth and understanding how every single opinion fits into a grander opinion, how there's a holistic truth which is beyond the either or of different opinions, and all the different aspects of opinions are, it's like when you shine light through a prism and you get the rainbow. That's what Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim means. It means that there's a range of opinions, and those opinions create the sugya, they create the truth. And when you can appreciate the spectrum, you don't need to say that this is right and this is wrong, but you realize that all of them come together to bring out certain aspects of the greater, more holistic truth. And through that process, through interconnecting, through constant refinement, you become a refined thinker, a refined Eved Hashem, a refined human being, and you constantly develop your ideas and opinions as opposed to just becoming so connected to one thought and one idea, one opinion, that you don't learn and grow because you shut out all other possibilities. So this was a flow of consciousness. This was just something that I was thinking about over Shabbos. And I hope you have an incredible week. I hope you learn a lot. I hope you think a lot. I hope you keep striving. And I'm wishing you an incredible growth-filled, Hashem-filled week.